Thank you. It was beautiful, wasn't it? That's Jerry Afshary on the harp and Maria Costales on the flute. So this evening we're going to have a beautiful, relaxing evening. My name is Reverend Lori Mack, and welcome to Practicing the Presence. So we come here on a Wednesday evening to lift you up, to allow the power and the presence of God to emanate throughout your whole body. So I invite you to relax and sit back and just open your soul and your heart and your mind to the message and to the music and the prayers. And just allow Spirit to work in your lives. So this is a candle lighting service, and during our candle lighting service, we set an intention. This evening, I'll be talking about the power of kindness. And I would like to invite you to come forward and to set an intention to give more kindness to the world, or maybe to be more kind in the world, or to receive more kindness. Whatever sings to your soul, only you know. So I invite you to come forward and light your candle, set an intention as we practice the presence together. Jerry and Maria will share their musical gifts with us. So this is the time of our service where we practice the silence together for 5 minutes. So I invite you to plant your feet on the floor and to close your eyes and just allow the chair to support you and to breathe into your heart space. Breathing in and out of your heart space. And I invite you to think of a time where you did a random act of kindness for someone and how much joy that brought to you. And just breathe that joy into your heart for that love that you gave to someone else. And lock that feeling of joy as you continue to meditate and allow it to flow throughout your whole body. And as we sit in the silence, allow that feeling of joy and love, eternal love and joy, to float into the sanctuary as we practice the presence together.
My prayer goes out to the people of the world, knowing that we are all connected. One heart, one mind, one soul. We are the microcosm of the universal power and presence of love, of kindness, harmony, peace, the highest qualities of God. We are the light of consciousness. We are the light that shines within love and kindness. For love and kindness is a universal language. The deaf can hear it, and the blind can see it. For a kind heart contributes to the awakening of humanity. It reminds us of our universal spiritual essence of love, life. For you can never go wrong by giving a random act of kindness. And I know that this evening unfolds in its own magnificence and its own power, knowing that it is the fire of love within Reverend Laurie's heart and soul as she enlivens and enriches our lives with her words of wisdom and heartfelt beauty. So I give thanks for this evening and the power of this evening, knowing that it is the act of love and kindness, outpicturing itself as this service. And so it is. Good evening. My name is Kay Samuelson. If anyone would like prayer after the service, please join us in the chapel. And my reading for tonight is from a book called Quotes About Kindness. The greatest inspiration you can find in this world is you. When you help someone, encourage them, smile at them, or just be kind to them, that is a huge inspiration to you and to them. View your life with kind sight. Stop beating yourself up about things from your past. Instead of slapping your forehead and asking, "What was I thinking?" Breathe and ask yourself the kinder question, "What was I learning?" Acts of kindness are the stepping stones to making a world a better place, because we become better people in it. Kindness is like a muscle. The more we exercise it, the better we are at it. Nothing carries more potential for change than individual acts of human kindness. Encourage, lift, and strengthen one another, for the positive energy spread to one will be felt by us all. For we are connected, one and all. I like how Mother Teresa put it, "Let no one come to you without leaving better or happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, in your eyes, and in your smile. If you approach life this way, always looking for ways to build instead of tearing down, you'll be amazed at how much happiness you can give to others and find yourself in it too." So let us welcome Reverend Laurie McMacken.
Beautiful, Kay. Wow, that was the service. Thanks. It was fabulous, wasn't it? I just love her consciousness. Thank you. So today I'm very excited about talking about the power of kindness, because when I put together my talks, I take a long time to do it, and I read a lot, and I try to practice what I'm talking about, embodying it, and I just really fell in love with this topic more than I ever thought I would. And just recognizing that, kindness really is a universal language, like Kay was saying, that all religions believe to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? To do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And this is universal. And at this time in the world needs love. We need love love and kindness, and we need people like you who understand the unity of all of life to hold that light of peace and wholeness and unity. Now, our founder, Ernest Holmes, who I so dearly love, he quotes that God is natural goodness and he is eternal loving kindness, and he holds nothing against anyone. And he continues to quote that we must instill in our mind the fundamental proposition that good is without bound, right? And that good and loving kindness shall follow us all the days of our lives, as he repeats from Psalms 23. But yet he continues and says that we must get this concept rather than thinking that there is a powerful evil opposed to a powerful good, right? That we experience good and evil because we perceive a sense of duality rather than unity, right? So there's only, what he's saying to us, there's only one power and one presence, and that is the power of good, the power of love, the power of joy. There is no power of evil. And that kind of confused me in the beginning when I was a religious science. Well, what are you talking about? Have you seen the newspapers lately? Do you go online? Do you know what's going on in the world? There's war and there's terrorism and there's terrible hate crimes. And what he is saying is that good is an eternal quality of God in love and kindness, where evil is not. Evil is a choice that us human beings have. We can choose to be evil or we can choose to be good. It is an appearance and it is an expression, but it is not going to last into eternality. And a great example of this, and you as religious science, I want to say this, you know that there is no duality. We know there's only one life, and that's the life of God. And that life is perfect, and it's whole, and it's eternal, and it's loving, and it's kindness. So we are the ones, like Michael Bernard Beckwith tells us, that when we read a newspaper or we're watching the news, that is your prayer request, right? We are here to hold light where there is violence. We are here to hold love where there is hate. Because we're all humans. There's no difference between you and I, race, color, creed, religion, sexual preference. And we know that love always wins out and kindness will always win no matter what the situation is. And a perfect example of this was 1 month ago in Orlando on June 12th, 2016. In the very early mornings, a lone gunman walked into a LGBTQ bar and opened fire, killing 49 people and injuring 53 people. Grief-stricken family and friends came together to try to make sense of this tragedy. But the community stepped forward in love and in kindness to assist. Strangers were trying to put together families with their loved ones who were either in the hospital or with EMTs. And reporters and photographers were allowing mothers and fathers to cry on their shoulder while they waited news of the whereabouts of their children. Social media made a call for blood. Many of the victims needed blood transfusions. And there was blood banks that opened up all over Orlando. And the love and the kindness poured in. Actually, one blood bank had over 600 people there. There were lines that were wrapped around the blocks. It was absolutely a great demonstration of love and kindness in the world. And there's a volunteer group called randomacts.com. And randomacts.com, the members of that volunteer group drove overnight to get to Orlando because they had their own mission. They wanted to put together care packages for the law enforcement, for the canine units, and also for the emergency teams. And what they did was they wrote these love notes in the care packages. They stayed up all night and their hands were full of markers, just thanking them for the strength that they had to work all night long, but also reminding them that yes, hate will steal the headlines, but love is always etched in stone. They gave out 1,500 care packages, and they made sure they had goodies for the canine units, for the dogs. And at Lake Eola, guess how many people showed up for a candlelight visual? 50,000 people. Is that amazing? If I can show you. Is the PowerPoint on? Hold on, I want to show you this picture. Okay, there's a picture from an aerial view. That's Lake Eola with the amphitheater there. Now, the beauty of what happened that evening is that Spirit graced the sky. Oh, not another night. The next one. Spirit graced the sky with a rainbow. You can't see it, but the next one will show you the rainbow, the beautiful rainbow. Look at that rainbow. It's like 50,000 people were given love, and love was coming back to Spirit. And the next one, look at this. Love wins no matter what. No matter what the hate crime is, love will always win out because love is an eternal quality. Evil is not an eternal quality. And the next one. And this just shows you what it looks like at night with 50,000 people holding candles. And then you can put it onto blank. Or did I do that? Oh, good. All right. So Ernest Holmes, he quotes, "We are to overcome evil with good. Evil lasts for a day, while goodness shines to eternity, and loving kindness is the very nature of deity. It is the very nature of God." Wow. Oh, it's not going to work again. Can you try me again? There we go. It was beautiful, isn't it? Yes, this is where love will always shine forth. So the book that I was reading was The Power of Kindness, and it was by Italian man, Peter Foccucci. And who wrote the foreword to this book was the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama said something like this. He said that the humans, we really depend on people to be kind to us. In the beginning, we come into the world as little children, and we depend on our parents to be kind to us. And then in the end, we leave this world, and we depend on people to be kind to us as we exit because our body becomes sick and it becomes diseased. And I'm not sure if anyone was at Sharon Trevette's funeral, the other day. It was so beautiful. And the kindness and the love that her friends gave her as she made her transition was absolutely amazing. But the Dalai Lama says now, between the time that we come in and the time at the end, this is the opportunity that we can express kindness to each other. So why not? And as I thought about it, I thought, I think what happens is here we are, we're in life, and we're just doing life, and things happen, and we're not equipped to deal with that. All of a sudden, we get hurt, or we get upset, or someone betrays us, and then we start having ill will towards other people, and we're not quite sure how to deal with that ill will, and we don't clean it up along the way. And when we don't clean that up through our spiritual practice, what happens is we block that flow of love and kindness in our lives. And there was a beautiful story in this book, The Power of Kindness, about a king who was a little rigid, and he was an authoritarian. And he wanted everyone to call him Luminous Noble Divinity. He liked that name, to call me Luminous Noble Divinity. But there was one person in the kingdom that didn't want to call him Luminous Noble Divinity. So he asked the guards to bring this person in front of him. And he said, "Well, why don't you want to call me Luminous Noble Divinity?" And the older man said, "Well, it's not out of rebellion, and it's not out of respect. I just don't see you in that light, and I'm being sincere." So the king, what he did, he put him in an awful jail cell for a year, and then he brought him out. He said, "Now do you think that I'm a luminous, noble divinity?" And he said, "Oh, sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, sir, but I just don't see you in that light." So then he put him in a jail cell that was dark and only gave him bread and water, where he lost even more weight. And a year later, he was so angry, and he was also curious, that he decided to release him. And he also decided to follow him home. So we followed him to home, and the old man went to his old fisherman's shack, and his wife was so joyful to see them. And they sat down and they were talking, and the king was hiding, and he was listening in on what he had to say. And the wife said, it was so awful that that king put you away for 2 years like that. And the old man said, you know, he really is a good king. I mean, he's made new roads, and he feeds the poor, and he's made new buildings, and he treats people basically fair. He's a very good king. And the king heard what he was said, and he started to cry, and he started to weep. And he came forward, and he said, I heard what you said, and I can't believe you would say something like that after the awful way that I treated you for 2 years. Will you forgive me? And the old man said, well, you are a good king, luminous, noble divinity. You called me luminous, noble divinity. Why? Because you were able to forgive me. So really, who is luminous, noble divinity? It's the one that's able to forgive, and it's the one who's able to ask for forgiveness. You know, forgive means to give up, right? There's something when we're forgiving that we have to give up. And I remember one time that I was suffering, and I kept on playing the same story over and over and over in my mind. And I had to sit down and pray and say, okay, I need to be relieved from the suffering. How do I do it? And I opened up a book and I did a God shot. And in the book, the Buddha quoted, all suffering is due to attachment. All right, I get it. So what am I attached to? I had to ask myself that question. And I realized I was attached to my story. Like, oh, I can't give up this story. I'm right and they're wrong. If you knew what they did to me, you would think I'm right too. I'm not going to give up this story, but I'm suffering. I've got to give it up. All right, I'm just going to put it to the side for a second. Whew, I felt a little better, right? I felt good. I ain't giving up that story. I'm defining myself by my story. So then I decided, okay, in order to heal, I have to totally give up that story. And so I gave it up, and I felt some sense of relief. But what happened 6 months later is the story came up again. I was like, I thought I already forgave. And we have to remember that Jesus teaches that there's a spiritual practice with forgiveness, that we have to forgive 70 times 7 every single day in order to keep ourselves clean, in order to keep that love and kindness flowing in our lives. So then I thought, okay, how can I see this from a different perspective? How can I reframe this? So I asked those empowering questions I think Kay said in her reading. What did I learn from this? Am I a better person from this? I said, yes. Everything is so much better in my life because this happened. And once I was able to admit that, then I was able to give gratitude and to release it out into the world. So I think that when we think of something in your life that keeps coming up over and over and over again, and ask yourself, can we give up that story? Can we see it from a higher perspective? And can we give gratitude for what happened? There has been research that kind people are happier people. They're more successful in business, they're more popular, and they're able to deal with challenges a little bit better. I mean, even the Dalai Lama said kindness, for that is my religion. And when we practice kindness on a daily basis, there's a fountain of honesty and love and joy and generosity and happiness and health that just flows from us when we become consciously kind and go out and love the world. And there was another story about a king in that book, and that story was about a king who is an African king story, and he had a wife that was kind of sick and she was kind of pale. And so he met this fisherman, and his wife was a picture of health, and she was happy. And he went up to her, and he said, how do you have a wife that's so happy? He said, oh, I just feed her the meat of the tongue. "Ah," the king says, "I get it." So he called upon the best butcher in the kingdom to bring the meat of the tongue for his wife and put her on a rich diet. Well, to his dismay, the wife was not getting better. She was getting worse and worse and worse. The king was so angry. He went over to that fisherman. He said, "I want a happy wife. Let's change wives." And the fisherman didn't like that. But he had to do what he was asked of, so he swapped wives. And so the wife that he had, she was happy for a while, but little by little, she started to become sadder and sadder and sadder. And then he went to the market and he ran into his ex-wife. And she was happy and she was a picture of health. He said, "Oh my God, you're so happy. Come back to me. Please come back to me." She said, "Never am I going to come back to you." "But why?" "Because every day I wait for my husband to come home. And my husband, he sits with me and he tells me stories and he listens to me and he laughs with me and he livens me up. And I just love him and I feel so good when I'm with him. He feeds me the meat of the tongue." Ah, the king thought. And so from there on, the king had made a turning point in his life. So I realized from the story that really kindness is about giving people attention and about acknowledging them. And so I asked myself when I'm out in the world, how can I be more loving in the world? How can I be more kind out in the world? And so about a year ago, I started to slow down a little bit because I'm like a taskmaster. I have a list of things to do, and watch out, man. I am on the run until I mark it off my list. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to race, get it done, da, 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 da. And I thought, you know what? I just have to be kinder, consciously kind to people. Open up doors, let people go in front of you. If someone cuts you off, it's okay. Matter of fact, one time on my birthday, I went to Disneyland and we were parking and there was a motorcycle that pulled in front of us and cut us off. And my boyfriend at the time started swearing. He was so angry. But when we got to the toll booth to pay our parking bill, the lady said, "Oh, that motorcycle paid for your bill." Luminous noble divinity. So how can I be more kinder out into the world? I was actually, in the cashiers, sometimes they're deadpan. They have 8 hours at that cashier, and they just want to get you through there and get on. And just asking them, "How's your day? What time do you get off?" I was at Michael's, the craft store, the other day, and the line was really, really long. It was 4th of July weekend, and I said, "So what's your plans for the weekend?" And she said, "My mother loves 4th of July, and she's in her 90s. She had a son and a husband that went into the war. And we were at Walmart's the other day, and there was a man collecting money for the veterans. And she went up to that man, and she said, 'Son, I know exactly what it's like. You men come home from war, and you're never the same.'" And he started to cry, and they hugged, and they had this moment of communication. And I said, "Thank you for sharing that story with me." And she said, "Thank you for listening." And I was like, wow, that was such a beautiful moment. Why can't I take more time out in the world and just love up the world? And just like Kay had said, that the language of kindness is a language that the blind can see and a language that the deaf can hear. About a year and a half ago, I was following a man online. His name was Chris Rosati. And Ed, I'm going to have to go to that video, the Chris Rosati video. I think it's number 11. I'm not going to do it right now, but just to prepare for it. His name was Chris Rosati, and he actually had ALS. He had 1 year to live, they told him. And so when he heard out he had 1 year to live, he had a beautiful wife and 2 small children, what he did was he doubled down on optimism. Yes. And he decided that he was going to do what he loved most every single day, and that was to make people smile. So what he did is he loaded up buses full of Krispy Kreme donuts, and he took it to hospitals, and he took it to schools, and he took it to cancer institutes, and he just watched the smile on people's faces when he fed them a donut or gave them a donut. But then what he discovered on his journey, what really made him feel alive was to empower someone else to be kind to someone else in the world. So it made me feel so alive, even though I felt like I was dying. And so there's a video I want to share with you. Do you have that for us? Yeah, there you go. I showed this to my Sacred Circle about 1.5 years ago. I just really loved it. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. 2 up. It says Chris right on the top of it. Yeah, and a little word. Oh, that's the beginning. So anyways, Chris, if you can find that for me, that would be great. So anyways, he gave so much joy of making people feel happy that what he started to do is he started to recognize that there was a butterfly effect when you give something to someone else and it becomes contagious, it becomes viral. Everyone wants to participate in doing good and giving to someone else. Have you ever seen an act of kindness like, whoa, I want to do that too, and then you participate in it? So he started giving out these little butterfly grants, was what he called them. And they were $50 grants. You got it? All right, let's play it.
It's always been a mystery to me how someone not long for this world could care so much about it. Even now, his voice almost gone, Chris still has a lot to say about how to make the world a better place. His latest revelation is about the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is this idea that a single butterfly flapping its wings on one side of the globe can, in theory, start a hurricane on the other. It's a physics concept, but Chris wondered if it could be applied to kindness as well.
An act of kindness, how far could it go?
A few months ago, he decided to test the theory at this diner in his hometown of Durham, North Carolina. He saw 2 girls at the table next to his and gave them each $50 with one very simple instruction: do something kind.
And then we left,
That was the end of it?
yeah. And I forgot all about it.
Until?
We got this email.
It included pictures from a village in Africa with people holding signs that read, "Thanks a lot for spreading kindness. Chris Rosati."
It was the butterfly effect.
The 2 girls responsible were 13-year-old Kate Cameron and her 10-year-old sister Anna. They say they couldn't believe it when a stranger gave them each $50.
You didn't want to let him down.
No, that makes you want to do something good with that money.
Yes.
The girls say they already knew about this village in Sierra Leone where their dad had worked in the Peace Corps. They knew the people there had been working hard to fight Ebola. So the girls paid for a feast to help them celebrate being Ebola-free. They say it felt great to help.
It's inspired me.
I would definitely encourage other people to do it.
Now that it's proven, what do you do?
Oh man, you get a whole lot of butterflies. They'll flap their wings.
To that end, last month, Chris Rosati, who's already done so much for North Carolina, launched his latest campaign. He told these screaming fans his plan to give out hundreds of little butterfly grants, $50 each, to any kid who wants to start changing the world. America, get ready for a hurricane.
So I played this 1.5 years ago for my Sacred Circle, and I thought, by now he only had 1 year to live. He's probably passed away. So I decided to do some homework on him. I looked up Chris Rosati, ALS, obituaries. No. But I found out that there's so much joy in his life that he's still going. He actually has a video crew in Durham, North Carolina, where they video people doing acts of kindness, and they share it with the world, so this could be a virus for everyone else to participate in acts of kindness. And they want to become the kindness capital of the world. But I have really, really good news for you, because the other day, something told me intuitionally to go get a newspaper. I haven't bought a newspaper in a year. Oh, years, not a year, years. It cost me $1.50. I thought that was the Sunday paper, but this was like the Monday paper. Woo, okay. So when I opened up the paper, it was a Carlsbad paper. I couldn't believe what I saw. There is a man in Carlsbad. His name is Carlton Lund. He is on the he's in the Chamber of Commerce. He's also on the council. And for 15 years, he'd had this great vision in his mind to have kindness meters, like to take a parking meter that you put money in and to put them all over. And he has them all over Carlsbad and some in Encinitas. And 100% of the money goes to a charity. And right now, you never believe, the money's going to Orlando. Isn't that funny? So, and they also are training the kids in Carlsbad, the Carlsbad kids. They give them 50 cents in school if they do something good to earn it, and then they bring them all to the kindness meters, and they let them drop the money into the meters, which is so sweet and so adorable. And can you play the next film for me? That would be great. It's just great. And now they're trying to make Carlsbad, supposedly is on the map, as the kindest city in America. Isn't that great? It's so wonderful. So I was just so joyful to find that out, that we live in the kindest city in America. All right.
New at 5, let's be honest, parking meters are mostly annoying.
However, 10 News reporter Joe Little found a bunch of meters you'll be happy to feed over and over again.
There's nothing like feeding the meter. One coin at a time. It helps pay for better streets and sidewalks. But most of the time, they're annoying.
Yeah.
Unless
Okay.
your meter is in the kindness zone.
This is very special.
Carlton Lund is trying to spread that special kindness zone all over San Diego County.
Well, I just think this is the greatest thing in the world.
That greatest thing is the kindness meter.
We need kindness all over the world.
Kindness. That's all your money is good for in these meters. They aren't even near parking spots.
This is crucial.
All of the money, loose change or credit charges, go to local charities like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Carlsbad.
Every year we start at zero and we have to raise our budget. So any kind of fundraising, every dollar counts.
Lund has successfully installed 8 of these meters, mostly around Carlsbad. He's hoping to place the next one in Solana Beach.
That would be number 9.
Oh my God, I think it's great.
There are 2 at the Agua Hedionda Lagoon.
Do you like peach?
Where Robin Gattinella has a cafe in the Kindness Corridor.
The best feeling is seeing a child put money into the meter.
Yeah, there's a little step stool so that the children can go up.
Loose change that tops $7,000 in less than 5 months.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
In Carlsbad. Isn't feeding the meter illegal? Joe Little.
Not here.
10 News.
The Solana Beach City Council is expected to approve its first meter.
Thank you. Could you find the little random acts of kindness card that I put up there? Can you find the next slide for me? Thank you. So isn't that wonderful that we have the kindness meters here? Now, if you're on my email address, I'm going to send you the location of all the kindness meters in San Diego County. If you want to get on it, it's over there. So this is, you've just received a random act of kindness card. And what I have been doing recently is random acts of kindness. And I went online and I saw a girl who was 26 years old, and on her 26th birthday, she did 26 random acts of kindness, and she documented all the random acts of kindness. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful video, and I want to share that video with you, not today, but I'll send it to you if you're on the email list. So today, like Chris Rosati, he feels so alive when he allows someone else to be kind to other people. And I'm going to gift you today with 5 cards that said you just received a random act of kindness, so you can go out into the world and you can practice conscious kindness with people all around you. And so some of the things that this girl did, who was 26 years old, is she put pennies on the ground so people can pick them up and find them. And I know I have a friend, actually, who likes to put dollar bills all over and watch people find them and pick them up. He goes to, another one is she went to, like kiddie rides and taped quarters to kiddie rides so people can go on rides, or put quarters inside bubblegum machines, or she bought flowers and she set flowers on her neighbor's door, or she put flowers on a car and just put the random act of kindness. And today when I was at Trader Joe's, I did the same, and it felt kind of good. And so sometimes you can go to the 99-cent store and buy gift cards and give them away to people, or you don't have to do stuff that costs money. You can just open doors for people and give them a smile, or wash their windshield. There's so many things that you can do to practice conscious kindness out in the world. And I hope this inspires you to get out there and to just love the world up. Every day when you go out there, you know what? Intentionally, I'm going to love the world up. And you can make your 5 cards that you're going to receive a project, but turn that project into a practice. That every day you hold that light for the world, and you know that there's only good and loving kindness, and it will follow you all the days of your life. Because when you give good out to the world, believe me, it comes back tenfold. It's just an amazing experience. So, Seaside, I love you, and you just received a random act of kindness. So have a blessed evening. And I'm inviting our musicians to come forward. Thank you. Oh, that was beautiful. So this is the time of our service where we practice our random act of kindness. So if you received love today, you received a message and the music and the prayers. And so we come together as this community as it grows and expands in the consciousness of abundance. And Reverend Bill, we're always going to put you to work while you're here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I invite you to take your gift and just to put it in. Come on over, Martha. Thank you so much. And to put it over your heart and close your eyes and go within. I'm just grateful for this beautiful community. I'm grateful for the abundance and the love and the joy that is ever present, knowing that each person here opens their heart and opens their mind just to be that kinder, gentler soul. And as you give, you do receive, allowing that eternal flow of abundance into your life. And I'm grateful for the abundance that flows into this community as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is so, and so it is. I don't think we have an affirmation, do we? Oh, we do? All right. Together, let's say our affirmation. Freely I give, freely I receive. I am immersed in the universal flow, knowing my gift does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. So now is the time when we practice our circle of love. Jerry, could you play the harp for our circle of love? Thank you. This is the time where we practice the truth, our spiritual mind treatment, and we send love to those loved ones who may be suffering, who may need a little extra prayer work, and just hold the light for them. And I invite you to raise your hand, and as I point at you, you can tell us their name, and I'll ding the bell, and we'll put their consciousness into this room, and then we will pray a spiritual mind treatment. So is there anyone here that needs special prayer for someone in their lives? Anyone else? All right. I'm also, yes. Billy. I'm also going to bring Pat in the circle and also Lori. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within. As I recognize that life is eternal, eternal love and kindness is always expressed in itself, as itself, and through itself. And I know the circle of love is complete. It binds all together with cords of everlasting unity. For I cannot depart from His presence nor wander from His care. For that circle of love is complete within me, and that circle of love is complete within our loved ones that we hold in consciousness, in light, in love, and wholeness. For I know the gift of heaven is one of peace, and the gift of heaven is one of perfect healing. I know the gift of heaven is always expressing itself through all and as all. And as I know for each person that we've named in this room, that the love of God surrounds them and the joy of God fills them. And anyone that needs a physical healing, I know that they are all that God is, that they are perfect and they are whole and they are complete right here and right now. For I know that my word is the mold of creation, as this creative process is already activated and already in action. I know it is already done in the mind of God, and I am just so grateful for this. As I release my word, that divine word, into the law, knowing that it is already done, and so it is. So I want to thank you, Ed Reeves, today. Tim Griffith, thank you, Tim, on video. Bob Greer is holding high watch for us. Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate it. We have Jerry F. Shari on the harp. Thank you. And Maria on the flute, Costales. And if you want to get some CDs from them, you have them in the family room. And not only that, you can sign up for the email list and make sure you take your 5 cards of random acts of kindness and practice conscious kindness and just really have fun with it this week. And Martha, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Come on up. And Kay, come on up. Thank you for shining your light as you usually do. And could we have oh yes. Yes, I have to talk about it. Thank you. On Sunday is the Dances of Universal Peace. I'm going to be leading the dances. This will be the first time I'll be leading with my friend Mansour, and we have Marcia Jen here. So it's at 6 o'clock instead of 7, 6 to 7:30. And also on Mondays is the Deep Sound Meditation where Kay is there and Jerry's there, and yes, and Maria's there. So come to the Deep Sound Meditation. It's a beautiful experience. And so why don't we do the universal blessing? I invite you to stand, and together let's state our universal blessing. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. I also want to go ahead, you can start the music. I want Martha to sing us out tonight. Thank you, Martha. Appreciate it. Invite you to hold hands, and we're just going to get the music started.
Our world.
It's called Peace Will Change Our World.
Let your hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Let your hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Peace will change 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 our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. Let our hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Let your hearts fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Peace will change 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 our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. In our world.
Seaside, may you walk in peace. Please join us for tea and cookies in the family room. And remember to enjoy a random act of kindness this week.